Hello, everyone. I have not felt like making content this week. I sometimes feel like I get a little bit of creators fatigue, perhaps. I don't know. Building a brand is not for the faint hearted, but I thought maybe the answer here is for me to actually just go back to doing things that I love and to share stories that possibly makes people feel connected to something. So I thought I would just start completely winging it here. Um, Tell you guys a little bit about why I started Healthy Ish Lifestyle or how it even came to be. So, um, during COVID, I was stuck in a home in Rondebosch with my family, just like all of us. We had just moved back from New York City and we were so excited to be back home. And number one, we hit the drought and we had to flush our toilets with buckets of water and collect rainwater when there was. And I'm sure all of you remember this. But that was sort of the first bit of coming home. And then we got hit with COVID and we were all locked in this house together. And my kids were really little at the time. My little boy and girl, who are now quite big, um, and I had a friend, and she was posting a little bit on something called Instagram, and I remember saying to her, "What is this that you're posting on it? Please show me how to download it and log in and create a little account." And I was like, it's a little like bored, like the rest of us. I was a photographer at the time, and I couldn't shoot anyone. I did newborns and portraits and whatever, fine art photography. And it came to a halt, and I was a bit bored. And I started posting little pictures of the meals and the recipes that I was making for myself and my children. And that genuinely was the start of Healthy Ish Lifestyle. It just sort of started growing. I think people were so impressed, I guess, with me and how I was able to stay healthy, fit ish, and raise my kids and look after myself, um, be healthy, but not to the point of exhaustion or overthinking. And that's just always been my philosophy. I've always just believed you need to be healthy ish. And there was really no big uh, push there. It's always how I've been. Um, I grew up in a family who ate quite healthy, and on occasion we would eat chocolates and treats and yummy food. And my mom loved to bake, and my dad loved to hike, and there was always a very big element of self love in my family, especially from my dad. He always made us understand that our bodies were this sort of special place, and it was our job to look after it. And I've carried that with me all these years. So there is sort of the foundation of healthy-ish lifestyle. But then what happened is still wasn't much. I mean, the business wasn't a business. And then we had to move back to Johannesburg because my husband couldn't work during COVID, and it was a bit of a disaster. We had to all relocate back to Johannesburg so that he could work and be present with his colleagues and his work. And then I think Ella must have been about 5 at the time. And I remember so clearly that I wasn't overweight, but I was under muscled and I was frumpy. Like I felt like my tummy was jiggly and my arms were jiggly and my energy weren't great. But most of all, I was negative. Like I had a negative self image. Every time I looked at myself in the mirror, I was just like, I didn't love what I was seeing from the inside out. And I thought to myself, okay, you know what? How do we take our power back here? Like, what is going on? No one is coming to do this for me. Like, I can't expect anyone around me to make me feel better about myself. I need to find a way to do that myself. And I started just really thinking about what was truly going on with me. And number one, the realization that I had is that I didn't have much time in the day. Like my time management was just shocking because I was looking after these two little children. I wasn't asking anyone to help me. I was doing it all by myself. And it was a lot. And so I wasn't essentially, well, what I was telling myself prioritizing my exercise the way I should be and my nutrition as well. On the topic of nutrition, I'd also realized that I was eating really healthily, very, very plant based, but started doing some research and I even saw a dietitian and I realized that I was not eating enough protein. I was certainly eating a diverse, healthy diet, but the protein was a problem. My vitamins, my minerals weren't on point. And another thing that I did learn from the dietitian, and that is a whole topic in itself because I walked away from a few months with my dietitian and I was like, this is not for me. But what I did learn is a little bit about macro balance, and it set me off, you know, on this educational spree. I was like, I need to learn about nutrition. I need to understand exactly what everything means for my body, and the rest is history in a sense. I just started learning. I enrolled myself in a nutrition educational college and I did the courses there and I loved it. I loved learning about nutrition in my body. And then I continued to share this on social media, not thinking anything was going to come of it. And the weight came off. I lost 8 kilograms of fat. I started realizing that I was doing way too much cardio, and that I should been increasing my weight training. But I started at the bottom. I have little videos of myself doing these 2 kilo little, presses or whatever. And now I'm lifting really heavy. Slow down on my bike. I was a big spinner and I was like, okay, maybe the spinning's got to take a break. Lifting heavier weights, more intentional, got the macro balance right, got my mindset right, and I started asking for more help. I became more confident in who I was as a woman. I started having stronger boundaries with my family. Um, and I also started distancing myself from people who weren't making me feel my best. And this was sort of just done one thing at a time. I didn't tackle it all at once. It was my own health journey, and I didn't have a coach. So I was doing this all by myself. And then it dawned on me. I was like, how many women must be in this position that I am and they don't have any guidance? No one is helping them. They're raising little children, their partners are working full time, they're feeling unfit, they're feeling under muscled, they're feeling confused. And then one day, I just said to myself, maybe I should run a health journey on Instagram. Like the women were enjoying my content, and I got my first 10 or 12 signups. I was creating programs at the time. I'm not even sure if it was Canva back then, but I put a lot of effort into these. And some of you may remember the first ever Healthy-ish Lifestyle Journeys. And the women loved it. They loved being part of something. They loved having structure, which we still have to that day. That structure is still exactly the same as day one, just with, more. Um, and a lot of those women who joined me back then are still doing journeys to this day. They've done all of them, many of them. They've come with me. We've all grown into ourselves, I think, together, I can almost say. And I feel so grateful that they've brought me into their kitchen, into their lives. And it is such a privilege for me to coach so many women. And yes, I've dipped into coaching men as well, putting a bit more energy into it now again. I really enjoy working with men. I feel like they're often neglected in society in terms of energy and mood and macro balance. And so yes, supporting people to find and feel the best versions of themselves brings me an immense amount of purpose and joy. So yes, I don't know if that was enjoyable, hearing a little bit of the founder story. Let me know. Thanks for listening.